Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage with a garden full of flowers, lived a kind old woman named Elspeth. One morning, she decided to bake a very special treat. "I'll make a little man out of gingerbread," she said with a happy hum. Her husband, Arthur, came in from the garden, sniffing the air. "Oh, Elspeth," he said, his eyes twinkling. "That smells like ginger and cinnamon and everything wonderful. What are you making?" Elspeth smiled. Into her big yellow bowl, she measured the flour and spices. She added sweet, dark molasses and creamy butter, mixing and mixing until she had a ball of fragrant brown dough. She rolled the dough out flat, and, with a little knife, she carefully cut out the shape of a little man. She gave him 2 juicy raisins for eyes, a cherry for a nose, and a row of sugary buttons down his front. "He's ready for the oven," Elspeth said. She slid the baking sheet into the warm, waiting oven. Arthur peeked over her shoulder, rubbing his tummy in anticipation. "He'll be a tasty treat," Arthur said. A little while later, the oven door popped open with a creak, and out leaped the gingerbread man. He was perfectly baked and stood proudly on the kitchen floor, looking as lively as could be. "Stop!" cried Elspeth, reaching for him. But the gingerbread man was too quick. He dashed across the floor and began to sing in a tiny, spicy voice. "Run, run, as fast as you can! You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." He zipped right past Arthur's feet and scurried out the open cottage door before the old man could even bend down. "Come back, little cookie," Arthur called after him. In the yard, a milking maid was sitting on a stool next to her cow. The gingerbread man ran right past her nose. "My goodness!" she cried, dropping her pail in surprise. "A running cookie!" The cow, whose name was Daisy, let out a loud moo and tried to block his path. But the gingerbread man ducked under her chin and kept on running, calling back, "I've run from an old woman and an old man, and I can run from you, I can!" He ran out of the yard and into a big field, where a farmer was digging up potatoes. The farmer saw the little man and tried to gently scoop him up with his cap. The gingerbread man was too fast. He raced toward the village, where a group of children were playing. "Look!" shouted a little boy, pointing. "It's a gingerbread man, and he's running away." The children laughed and gave chase, their feet pattering on the cobblestone street. But the gingerbread man just sang his song louder. "Run, run, as fast as you can! You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man!" He zipped past the blacksmith's forge, the air hot and smelling of coal. The big, strong blacksmith saw him and tried to catch him in a small fishing net, but the gingerbread man was too nimble. He ran by the tailor's shop. The tailor, who was sitting in the doorway sewing, saw the tasty-looking treat and tried to snip at his heels with a pair of shiny scissors. Snip, snap, went the shears, but the gingerbread man was already gone. He left the village behind and came to a quiet pond. A big white goose swam near the edge. It saw the gingerbread man, and with a loud honk, it flapped its wings, splashing water at him. He ran through a green meadow dotted with fluffy white sheep. One of the sheep saw him coming and stood right in his path. "Bah!" it said. But the gingerbread man just ran right between its legs and kept on going. At last, the gingerbread man came to the bank of a wide, deep river he could not cross. Sitting under a willow tree, washing his face with his paws, was a handsome fox with clever, shining eyes. "You can't catch me," boasted the gingerbread man. The fox, whose name was Reynard, put a paw to his ear. "I beg your pardon," he said politely. "I'm a bit old and I can't hear you very well. Come a little closer." The gingerbread man hopped closer and shouted his song. "Oh my," said the fox, "you look too fast for anyone to catch. But how will you cross the river?" He offered his help. "Just hop onto my tail and I will swim you across." The gingerbread man thought this was a fine idea. But halfway across, the fox said, "The water is getting deeper. You had better move onto my back so your feet don't get wet." So the gingerbread man scrambled onto the fox's back. A moment later, the fox said, "Oh dear, it's deeper still. You must hop onto my nose to stay dry." So the little gingerbread man, trusting the fox completely, crept all the way up to the tip of the fox's long nose. When they were just about to touch the far bank, the fox gave a mighty toss of his head. He flipped the gingerbread man high into the air, opened his mouth wide, and snap! And that was the end of the gingerbread man. Back at the cottage, Elspeth and Arthur decided not to make any more cookies that could run away. Instead, they baked a whole tray of round, cheerful gingerbread cookies who were perfectly happy to be eaten with a nice, warm cup of milk.